Officially welcome to the Divine Feminine Biz Goddess Circle. That's a really long name. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Jess. You probably know me though because you're here. Ariane, like I said, is going to be clicking through the slides for me since I'm having tech issues with my Zoom, and she's also recording this for me. So if you hear me communicating with her throughout this, that is why. You can click to the next slide, Ariane. So if you're already connected with me, you probably know me. I'm going to tell you more about my story in a little bit, but I'm really fucking nervous because this is something that I got a download about like 3 years ago. And I've been so excited to put it out into the world and share it because literally everything that I've created in my 13 years of business is because I've had massive transformation in that area after massive struggle. And specifically with business, like things have been fucking chaotic, but I've had a breakthrough this year. And I'm really excited to share the tools with me that have helped me have this breakthrough in business by approaching essentially a softer way of doing business. So you can click on the next slide. I can't remember what's next. Okay. So we're going to breathe in a second before we get started because I feel the need to breathe and ground, and maybe everyone else does too. But I want to just give you what's the word? What the fuck is the word? I don't know what the word is. This is what we're going to be doing today, our flow. I guess that's the word that I have on the slide I'm looking for. So my intention is to keep this around 30 minutes, but we will see what happens. I really want to share just like one main really powerful thing with you that has helped me, but we're going to make this interactive. We're going to do Q&A. I'm going to give you some journaling prompts so that you can have some shifts like right now today. And of course to hear from you too. So we'll do that. I'm going to go through a story time of why I created this. And if you haven't seen me talking about this on social media, but basically I lost everything in business because I was disconnected from my feminine energy. Didn't know that at the time. Oh my God, hang on. I have an intention candle that I set. Oh my God, hang on. Oh my God, the thing was about to blow up. The flame was like 6 inches tall and it was across from me, and I'm so glad that I saw that so I didn't burn down my fucking dresser. Jesus Christ. Okay, there's a lot of energy moving through today. So I lost everything, all my financial freedom, making 6 figures, all these things from being disconnected with my feminine energy and doing the old way of business. And like I said, a softer approach is what changed it all for me. So I'm going to tell you the story in just a minute. We're going to do a teaching and a ritual, and it will be interactive, like I said. And then I'll do a Q&A time, and then you can learn more at the end. Oh my God, my room is like filled with smoke now. At the end, I'll tell you how you can continue doing this work. So I would actually love to hear from you before we start and breathe and get into everything. And I would love to hear where in the world you're tuning in from, whether you're live with me or on the replay, and also what your intention is for today. I might have that on the next slide. Again, my beautiful friend Ariane is here recording for me. Thank you. And she has the slides for me because I'm having Zoom tech issues. So yes, please tell me in the comments below. In the comments, we're not on fucking YouTube. In the chat box below, where in the world are you? And what are your intentions for being here? Yay, I'm so excited. I talk really fast and go all over the place if you don't know that about me yet. And when I'm extra excited, it's a little bit more all over. So if you get confused at any point in time, please feel free to ask me questions. Okay. Love it. Oh my God, that smoke is like going in my throat chakra. Is MA Massachusetts? Is that right? I'm like not the geography person, even though I've traveled a lot. Massachusetts, and your intention is to flow with possibilities. Love it. No worries. Hi, beautiful Ariel. Let me know if I'm saying your name right. In Toronto, and your intention is to stay open to possibilities. I love that. Okay. What is this thing telling me about the chat? All right. So let's just take a minute to ground because clearly I still need it, even though I did it before this. So just take a moment to close your eyes, place a hand on your heart or in your belly or wherever on your body feels good. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And I invite you to sound, shake, get out any energy that needs to get out. And then just like rub your body. We don't have to make this sexual or anything, but just like sensual touch coming into your body. And then just giving yourself a gentle little hug. Feeling your energy ground down, coming into this present moment. And I just like feel the love of like Mother Gaia and all these beautiful goddesses with us here today. So I'm really excited. All right. And then you can open your eyes whenever you're ready. I feel better. Yay. Okay. So next slide, beautiful Ariane. Thank you. Okay. So why did I create this? Hang on. I'm trying to, here we go. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I lost everything because I did business the old way. And I'll explain what I mean by that throughout this. But if you have questions, like I said, let me know. So this year, I had the most sales that I've had in the last 4 years. And it's taken me the last few years to like finally fucking figure this shit out. And everything that I create, like I said at the beginning of this, is because I've gone through massive struggles and then have had massive transformation. So I just want to help other people to not go through the pain and the confusion that I have had to do in multiple areas of my life, not just business. And honestly, because the old way of business is fucking exhausting, it's unsustainable, it's ego driven, and it's not nourishing to our bodies, our souls, and our hearts. And this is not to judge the old way of doing business. This is not to judge the way that anyone does their business. But I'm the fucking bitch that hustled to 6 figures and financial freedom and lost everything and burnt myself out time and time and time and time again. And that is not sustainable. And I would love to hear, I'm going to keep going, but I would love to hear throughout while I'm talking how this is landing with you, how long you've been in business, or anything you're open to share, because I realize I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm an OG because I started business in 2012 and things were done a lot different back then. And I feel like every few years or even every year, things have changed so much, especially the last 5 years, things are changing a lot. So next slide, please, Ariane. And like I said, please feel free to share in the chat, and I'm going to keep going. Nino says, totally feel this and have been very called to make this shift. Yes, girl, I love it. So as I mentioned earlier, didn't know this at the time when this started happening between 2019 and 2021, that I lost everything because I was disconnected from my feminine energy. So some of the main reasons why I now realize that this happened, again, I didn't fucking know what was happening in 2019 when some of this started to crumble. I wasn't being authentic. I didn't realize I wasn't being authentic. I actually did a lot of work to be authentic online because I started in 2012. I know both of you that are on here are new friends, so you wouldn't know this, but I was like super religious, conservative Christian, would never say the word fuck online. And if you follow me now, you see how I am now. But I was still afraid to be seen, afraid to show my full self. And I was cramming myself into all of my mentors' boxes and how they were doing social media and how they were doing business. Like I mentioned, I was also hustling, which wasn't sustainable. At the end of 2014, I went to Tony Robbins, walked on fire, changed my fucking life, realized I could do this shit. I could make 6 figures. I could help teach other people to do the same in my prior business. And I would say within 3 to 6 months, I got that business to 6 figures. But I was telling Ariane the story when I was on her podcast. I was working something crazy for 3 weeks straight, like 20 hours a day or something insane like that. And I was in network marketing before, which I'll talk more about that in a second. And I was like trying to go for this like big goal in the company that was like essentially like the top elite coaches in the company I was in. And most people made that happen over a year. And I actually made it happen in 2 weeks. There was like a deadline of 3 weeks, but it was insane. Like I was passionate at the time, but it was fucking insane. And I think for like a month after I did that, once my business got to 6 figures, the beginning of the following year in 2015, I think I like couldn't get out of my bed for like a month because I was so tired. Okay. The next thing was I was following all the rules. And when I say rules, what I mean by that, I'll explain more about it when we get into the teaching. But it's like any rules that we were told on how to do social media, how to do business, how to launch, how to insert whatever. I also didn't realize this again at the time, but I wasn't listening to my heart and what my true soul's desires were. I was more in my ego. I was partially in my heart because I was creating things that I really wanted to put out to the world, but I was so obsessed with like what my story was on my social media, if I'm being honest. Like I was like manifested my dream apartment on the water in LA, and I'm going to tell you more about why I'm saying that in quotations in a minute. And I became financially free, lived all over the world, did all these things literally in my fucking 20s. Yeah, I was like, was that my 20s? Yes. But I was so concerned about what other people thought about my story. And I have a timeline. I'm going to break it down more in a second. And I've talked about this a lot if you listen to my podcast lately, that the goddess Kali, beautiful goddess Kali, she comes in and she dismantles anything in our life, business, etc., that isn't sustainable, isn't authentic, that has to go. So even though I didn't know this back in 2019 when this started happening, now I know that that's what was happening. When we lose things, it's often because it's not authentic to us. And I've realized now, I was doing lots of ancestral healing and breaking generational cycles, learning about nervous system healing and all kinds of things. So next slide, please, my friend. Okay, so if I got lipstick on my face, please tell me. I think I kind of already mentioned this, but this is kind of just the timeline. I started my network marketing business in 2012. I was a Beachbody coach, if you guys know Beachbody, back in the day, because I lost 60 pounds senior year of college and it changed my life. So the next year I quit my corporate job in 2013. Like I told you, between 2014 to 2015, I got to 6 figures by hustling. So in 2017 and 2018, I started realizing I wanted to start my own business, but I was terrified, so I stayed stuck. I lost my passion. I wasn't really resonating and connecting with Beachbody and what they preached anymore, because I found yoga and intuitive eating and things like that, and that really changed my life. But I was so afraid. So I kept trying to cram myself and my business in the company's box, Beachbody. So in 2019, I finally started my own business, and I was basically teaching manifestation, coaching women in business through online courses, one-on-ones, readings. And I legit was like at $5,000 a month about 6 months in. I was working with a mentor. I was paying her like something crazy, like $2,000 a month or whatever. And I was still making money for my Beachbody company or my Beachbody business because it was residual income. So I was doing really well 6 months in and manifested that dream apartment on the water in LA, like I mentioned. And then all of a sudden, like, things were working so well, like things just stopped working. Like I stopped making sales. I was like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to pay my rent in this dream apartment on the water in LA. So I took it as a hint from the universe that I needed to make a shift, and I let myself get evicted from that apartment. And that might sound wild and fucking crazy, but that's what I felt guided to do at the time. What is the last thing you say on the slide? I can't see it, what it says. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just keep talking. I have the slides up on my computer, but it doesn't matter. So at that time, like I said, I was working with that mentor, and I was literally doing everything that she told me to do. And I was in fear, and I wasn't listening to my own intuition. So you can actually go to the next slide, because I don't think it really matters what the thing says that I can't see. So after I left LA, let me mention one thing first. I kind of already mentioned this before, but mentor's box. Okay, I already said that. So my dream apartment on the water, I had always wanted to live on the water, but I realized probably a year after that was like, again, more my ego and caring what other people thought about me. And I realized I didn't even want to live in LA anyway. And after living in San Diego earlier this year, my 4th time living in California, I realized I don't really want to live in California anyway. So a lot of times these things, again, are dismantled from our lives because it's not authentic and it's not aligned. So at the end of the beginning of 2020, I went back to Hawaii and I started rebuilding. I feel like I'm talking about this more than I planned on, but I'm going to just like go really fast through the rest of it. So at the end of 2020, I came back to my hometown because it was COVID. We were in quarantine. I was terrified to be 6,000 miles away from my parents. And that started like the darkest dark nights of the soul that I had ever really gone through. And at this point, I had lost everything in business. I took time off because I went through health issues and I didn't know what I wanted to do in my business. I got a job in 2023 at a yoga studio, and I kind of figured out my purpose without even trying. I realized teaching divine feminine energy and all these things that I was working on behind the scenes was what changed everything for me. And I quit that job last year and have been refining my business. And like I said, I've had more sales this year than I've had in the last 4 years of business. Things are still messy and chaotic and not perfect, and I'm still rebuilding, but I've had such a big shift after all this like deep loss and grief and dark nights. And yeah, I talk more about this on my podcast, so I'm not going to keep rambling about it here. So you can listen to that if you want to hear more, and you can go to the next slide, Ariane. And I would just love to hear, whether you're on live with me or on the replay, if any of that resonates with you, what I shared. Like, have you been through some crazy shit the last few years, because so many of us women have been through dark nights of the souls, loss, death, and rebirth over and over and over because we're being fucking initiated. And I didn't realize that at the time. I wish I had, but I didn't. And that's why I love teaching what I teach. So feminine energetics is essentially what shifted everything for me in my business this year. And it was stuff I was working on the last few years and kind of developed this through lots of trial and error and doing it on my own in a lot of ways. Like, I honestly stopped having a business mentor, and I know that I'm here mentoring and coaching you, but honestly, the way that I teach now, I love helping women find their own blueprint of business and finding a way that works for you, because it's not a one size fits all approach. And I'm living proof of that. Let me see what the chat box says. 3 dark nights of the soul over the last 2.5 years. Girl, I can relate. Like a butterfly stuck in Groundhog's Day over here, girl. That makes me feel comforted. Like, you guys are my people. Like, you fucking get it, because yeah, shit has been rough. But the fact that I feel like my business has changed so much, and I mean, I've changed as well this year. There's still lots of chaotic, messy things going on, like I've shared, but like, I know that things are massively changing for all of us. Okay. So there's 6 different pillars, if I didn't already say that, of what changed everything for me. You can see all of that on my website for my Divine Feminine Business program, because I'm not going to talk about all of it today. We're going to talk about one main thing, because I was like, what is like the biggest thing I could teach them that if they only come to this course, this free class, and they never work with me, they just get like a huge takeaway that would really change everything for them. So this is kind of like also the interactive part. I would love to hear from you in the chat, or actually, I would love for you to unmute yourself if you feel comfortable doing that. If you want to share, you can also type it in the chat if you want to. But these questions that are at the bottom of the slides, I want to ask you these, because when I started doing this work within myself, this is what started shifting everything. I feel like I have crumbs from the bread I ate earlier stuck to my mouth. So, what rules have you been told? And when I'm talking about have been told, I'm talking about business, social media, and maybe you've been told by mentors, by other business coaches you see on social media that teach you how you have to post or how you have to launch or whatever. Or maybe it's like society's rules or even self-imposed rules. Because I realize, and I continuously have to ask myself these questions and do this work. I'm like, oh, fuck, why do I think I have to do this launch this way? Why do I think I have to post this amount of times each week? Why do I think I have to post on my YouTube or podcast this amount of times? That's kind of like just an example. Do you guys get what I'm saying? And if you don't have an immediate answer, that's totally fine. If you don't want to share, that's totally fine. But definitely take a screenshot. I'm just clicking through everybody on here of this so that you can also do this later and work through it on your own. And honestly, like I said, these are questions that I come back to constantly all the time in my business. So does anyone want to share? Just raise your hand if you do. And if you don't, it's okay. Let me just click through. All right, y'all, feel free to unmute yourself. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm happy to share a little. I don't have the exact wording for it, but the idea of like having to launch in a certain way, I think is big. And also that like launching almost has to be painful.
Yeah.
To like keep repeating like the same thing over and over again. And like, I feel like I just did a little launch and I was annoyed with my own messaging. So I'm like, how are people going to resonate with my energy if I'm annoyed with what I'm posting about? Because I felt like that was how I should do it. And I'm glad I didn't really work that well because I didn't really want it to work anyway because I wasn't happy with how it was going.
That is so fucking relatable. And thank you for sharing that, because I'm like, yep, can totally relate to this. And even as I was like, because I kind of stopped launching this year in a way. I think I shared that in one of my posts that I put up recently. I mean, this is kind of a launch because it's on a specific day and I'm launching a business program at the end of the month. But outside of that, I haven't really launched a lot. But anyways, what I was going to say is even getting ready to do this free circle. I was like, do I want to do a free circle? Do I want to do it this way? Do I want to do all these posts? And then I just kind of, I'm going to talk more about this in a second, but I tuned in and I was like, how can this feel really good to me? How can this be really fun to me? Like, how can I do it differently than I've done it in the past before? Let me see what the chat's saying. Last question in case you can't see it. Oh, thank you. I forgot I didn't even read the other questions on the slide. Thank you. So what feels heavy and is holding you back? And what is the one thing, if you could shift it, you feel would change everything for you? excuse me, this question right here, the last question, what is the one thing if you could shift it you feel would change everything for you? I am telling you guys, probably for the last 4 years, 3, 4 years, however long it was, I would journal on this question and I would be like, I'm tired of having to post on social media every day. I'm tired of launching every day. I'm tired of doing all these things that they tell us to do every single day. And I was fucking terrified to actually like let go of all that. And there's been times where I've been living at my parents' house temporarily, and because I've had to because of loss of income and all the stuff that I shared. So that kind of gave me a safe space to be able to do this and not have to worry, oh, fuck, how am I going to pay these bills and stuff like that. So it's good to have something that makes you feel safe. But at the same time, I will say earlier this year when I had all these shifts and had all these sales was when I was living in San Diego and I was paying rent on my own. And I actually had just lost all of my Beachbody income that I was still getting residual. So it still happened even when I had all those bills at the beginning of the year and wasn't temporarily at home with my parents. But like, this is why I always recommend to people to have a job if you need to have a job. Like, I probably quit my job sooner than I should have way back in the day, but like, I just made it work. But it's really, really, really important to figure out how you can make yourself feel safe to do this. And there's so much rewiring that goes into all of this. Okay. Does anyone else want to share anything before we go on to the next thing? I think I've kind of already jumped ahead to the next thing. I've been trying to let go of getting stuck in hustle and allow for flow and joy. Exactly. I love that. And it's a process. Like when I was on Ariane's podcast, I was telling this story and I was like, I started working on my feminine energy and learning all these things of letting go of the hustle and flowing more in like 2017 when I had a prior healer that I was working with. It's 2025 now. That's 8 years later. And I feel like this year I'm finally getting my balance of like my masculine doing energy and my feminine being energy, receiving energy. And we are fucking conditioned from society, from the online business world, from network marketing, if you've ever done that, that we have to hustle. And actually, when I reflect back, when I've had my biggest sales months in business, I'm thinking back to what year was that? I think it was like 2016. I had just moved to Hawaii the first time. And I remember having almost a $20,000 month in business. And that was the biggest month I've had so far. And I was like working like 5 to 10 hours a week and just doing what was fun. And I know that sounds fucking crazy, but like it's a lot of reconditioning. Because literally there are no fucking rules. Will you click to the next slide, Ariane? I think I've already talked about what's on the next slide. So yeah, the biggest pillar that I'm here to teach you from the 6 pillars that I have that have changed it all for me is to fuck all the rules. Social media's rules, your mentor's rules, society's, and your own. I think I already mentioned that. And there's so much to like, I feel like where people get stuck about the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to talk too much about that today, but it's like, okay, this download that I got, I'm going to make this into a post probably sometime soon. I got this download like a month ago. My angels were like, they told me, Jess, your intuition and your angels are way more powerful than some goddamn algorithm or AI. No offense to AI. I know some people use it, and I think you can use it in really aligned ways. I don't personally use it. But your intuition and your angels and guides, whatever you believe in, is that fucking powerful. And I know we're not taught these things. I know this might be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Jess? But I'm telling you, I had a post that went viral this year. I had never had a viral post in business 13 years in. And it was some stupid fucking meme, like those funny little memes that everyone does on Instagram. I think I made it about some astrology thing, and it was just stupid, and it went viral. And it wasn't because of an algorithm or anything. I did it from my heart because I was like, fuck, these energies are so heavy right now. And I don't feel like making a podcast video today. So I just want to share from my heart and share something with people that will really help them. So I shared it from my heart, and I talk more about that and how to do that in my business program. But that is like really key and that kind of goes into the next point, is it gets to be fun. If we focus on our heart and helping people, it shifts everything for you. Like that's been the biggest thing for me. I stopped launching and creating because I needed to make money or needed to make a sale. And I asked my heart what she wanted. before I go to the next point, is this making sense so far? Is this landing? How's it resonating? Any questions? Yeah, okay. Let me just take a sip of my tea. I don't know what weird accent that was. Oh, okay. So, business gets to be fun. Everything gets to be fun. We have to let go of what's heavy. And I think that was on the journaling prompts that I just gave you before. I can't remember. If it's not, add it to the journaling prompts. Journal out anything that feels heavy right now in your business. You can also use this in your life too. And then like just take one little baby step on how can you shift that. And the biggest thing that shifts things for me, I know me and Ariane talk about this a lot, so I'm repeating myself to her. But I give myself permission to do nothing if I want to. If I don't feel like posting, if I don't feel like selling, if I don't feel like launching. And I know that sounds fucking nuts, but I'm telling you that every time I do that, I'm like, wait, my heart actually wants to share this post today because what about all those women that are struggling in business that are still in that energy I used to be in? I need to help them. And again, I know I'm going back to the heart again, but it's really what shifts everything because when you give yourself permission to do nothing, that's part of what takes all the heaviness off. And I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but let me know if that makes sense. Or not ahead of myself, but yeah, I think I'm repeating myself over and over. Okay. I feel, will you click on the next slide? Like, I remember I just made these yesterday. Okay. So now we're going to do a ritual to release the fucking old. So let me know if you're excited to do this shit because this has been a game changer for me and it's actually really simple. And this is something you can do with anything. Again, like a lot of the stuff I'm teaching you today, you can use in any area of your life, but this is specific for entrepreneurs. Yes, goodbye hustle culture. Amen. So are you all familiar with like cutting cords? I think if you're on my video, I'm sure you are. Okay. I was just clicking through so I could see people nodding their heads. So this is like cutting a thread or a cord, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to invite you to do it with me. Oh, by the way, loves, full transparency, I'm on the free Zoom account right now. So we have 10 minutes left and we can restart a second one because we are going to need more time because I have a lot more slides. So when we get to that point, I'll tell you what to do. Don't worry, I'm paying attention to the time. Oh, well, it has a timer at the top, duh. Okay, so we're not doing it yet. I'm going to explain it to you, but we're going to look at what is your top rule or belief that you have in your business right now. And just think about that for a moment. Ariane, will you actually play the first song on the playlist? Because I want to just give you guys about 60 seconds or so to think about this. Thank you, Boo. And if you can't like get it, then I invite you to like journal or write it out because that's a really good way to tap into our subconscious. And just once you have it, let me know. Oops. Yes, I hear the music. Thank you. Can you guys hear me talking over the music? Okay. I actually think we should leave the song on while we do this because I feel like this is like really good. Okay. Does everybody have their top belief or their top rule? Just let me know in the chat box or give me a thumbs up on the video. Okay, clicking. Okay, everybody's good. So all we're going to do, again, don't do it yet, but close your eyes when I invite you to. And we're just going to visualize this cord being cut. You can invite Archangel Michael to help you if you want to, or whatever guide you want to work with. And you're literally just going to visualize it in your third eye. Does everyone get how I'm explaining it and what I'm saying? Because actually I haven't taught this before. I've just done it myself. Does it make sense? Everyone's good? Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes. We're just going to invite in beautiful Archangel Michael, the angels, the archangels, the goddesses, and our guides of the highest level of love and light that are here to help us and support us. And I just invite you to visually see this cord with this fucking belief, this rule that you're so fucking ready to let go of that's holding you down. Visualize this cord and this thread being cut. And we're asking Archangel Michael or whatever guide you want to work with to help us and just keep running the healing until it's complete, Archangel Michael. as you do this, just feel the energy shifting from your body. Feel your body getting lighter. Feel yourself getting excited. Like, oh my God, business actually gets to be fun. Business actually gets to be fucking exciting. I don't have to actually carry all this heavy fucking bullshit. I can do it my way. This is fucking fun. Just taking a breath in and out, and sound, and move if you need to. And I feel like the invitation from this song is to see this beautiful energy of the ocean washing all of this away from your body, from your energy, from your aura, from your timeline, all the way back to the beginning of time. Ooh, I just got chills everywhere. And then just feeling your body and your energy shifting into this new paradigm. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. If you feel complete, if you're not complete yet, keep going. But it's something I can usually do this in about 60 seconds or so. I kind of made it a lot longer. And then some messages wanted to come through for you all. Okay. Do you mind pausing the music, Ariane? Thank you so much. Okay, I would love to hear how that went for anybody. If they want to share, you can let me know in the chat. By the way, I have a Spotify playlist that this song and a bunch of other super cool songs are on. I made it just for you. I'm going to put the link in the chat box. Hang on. I'm like, what window do I have it on? This computer is being slow right now. Can you guys still hear me and see me? Okay. I clicked Windows, so I was just making sure. All right. Are we good to move on, or does anyone want to share? Just give me sorry, I'm not being very clear. Give me a thumbs up if we're good to move on. Okay. I think I'll do a longer ritual for later, but I really like the idea. It was very freeing. Yes, I love that. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you for saying that. And yeah, I feel like depending on what it is that you're releasing, it's going to take a longer amount of time or a shorter amount of time. And I think I said this already earlier, but this is something that I'll like repeat throughout the week when I cannot talk anymore, when things come up. So thank you for saying that, Ariel, because that made me remember one thing I wanted to say. Okay. Will you click to the next slide, Ariane? There's Ariane and Ariel, and my tongue is getting twisted. Okay, so I still have more stuff I want to do, and there's only 4 minutes remaining on here because I'm on the ghetto free plan right now. So what we can do is I can just end this and I will restart it. It'll be on the same link. So give me a thumbs up if you want to come back and hang out. You don't have to, but that's what we're going to do because we're going to keep recording and going because there's more to talk about. So I'm just going to hang this one up and just come back on the same link that you came on originally. And I'll see you in just a second. Bye, loves.